as we try and kind of pull it together here is, so the question I think is, why did I start this thinking that skill set or mindset has to be either or? Isn't it
It
really both?
absolutely is both. I mean,
It is, isn't it? I would say a big
yeah.
fat yes to that.
And
Absolutely both.
honestly, I think that if I had to choose one, I would have to choose mindset. Just and yeah, although skill sets fantastic, there's so many times that like you're looking at someone who has this resume with senior such and such, and then I mean, how many times you've hired someone like that, and then it's like, wait a second, like how did you get that title? Like no company is equivalent in any shape or form. It's every company is unique, and just senior title at some company is maybe junior or less intern at another company. And so you never know what you're getting. And I think it has to be both. Um, but at the end of the day, I would choose mindset.
And I would agree with you. I mean, skill set gets you hired, mindset keeps you employed, but mindset is what's going to get you promoted. Mindset's going to get you paid more, right? Mindset's not about your job outlook. It's about a career outlook. And so when your direct report supervisor or bosses see that, trust me, my experience is most people want to promote from within first. So if you've got that can do, will do attitude, if you're able to understand the vision as your leadership, the executive team lays it out for you, and you can internalize that and you go, okay, I know the duties and the tasks I'm hired for, but if you can do things to add value in other ways to the greater good of the mission that's been laid out, really, I promise you're never going to be looking for the next promotion within your company. They're going to come looking for you. So, and in this work environment, where we're 40% down on the number of people that are even applying for jobs, this has never been more true. I do think there's an opportunity to get there faster, maybe than the traditional path of, I remember I worked in the financial service industry right out of college and they go, well, you're really just very talented and keep this up in 10 years, you're going to be on a management track. And I'm like, and I just remember thinking 10 years, I don't want to invest 10 years. So, and I know that, a lot of the folks that are just entering the workforce in the last 5 years, nobody wants to hear that you have to wait, right? I know that, but I think so. That's part of what you look for when you're looking to match up with the right kind of company, as you said, Will. You want work that's
Yep.
meaningful, um, but you also have to go in with the serve you mindset. It's not all one
Yeah.
way. What can I contribute to this company? I know you're going to make an investment in me. Here's what I'm willing to do for you. Man, I would run to
Yeah.
candidates that have that mindset. I think that's, again, there's that word mindset again. So, and by the way, have a great mindset if you're a little thin on the experience and
Yeah.
skill set, right? You know that if a company's, are you willing to train and coach me up? I'm willing to stay. And let's talk about what that would
Yeah.
feel like as for you as risk and in a return on that investment you're going to make in me. And let me, if they go, well, I expect you to die of old age with us if I invest a year. Well, that's not
Yeah.
fair, right? So, but what is fair? And anyway, that's an inspiring conversation to have if you're young and
Yeah.
interviewing for a
For
job.
sure.
So,
Well, I think there's several different approaches you can take to the hiring, but skill set and mindset absolutely play a part. If you can find both, then you've found an A player. But if it all else fails, I think you have to go mindset, in my opinion. What's a takeaway for somebody that's listening to the episode here? They're in need of hiring. What's something they can go and do?
I think right now more than I would have thought before. It's it's understanding what that mindset. It really is. I think it's not either or. I think they come in an order. You know the skill set when you write your job description and you post your ad or you're interviewing. You know the duties that you need that person to do. So it's very easy to identify the skills needed. But man, I would spend more time thinking of talking to that individual and saying, you know what? I noticed that you've been out of college for 5 or 6 years. You were at this company for 2.5 years. You were at another one for 3 years. You must have really had to overcome some things in those environments. Talk to me about what that is. And let me get a sense of how you make decisions and what you look for. If this is all about, how much am I going to get paid and what's my vacation time, and you're going to let me work remotely from home, right? If all you get, so I would encourage employers to um, change the interview experience a little bit to make sure you're getting to know somebody and what floats their boat, right? What does excite you in terms of what dragons have you slayed in the 5 years you've been
Mhm.
in the workforce or the 10 years? Why'd you leave that place? Can I get an honest answer out of somebody? I think those, I mean, you're going to know quick enough about the skill set, but how are you going to approach your job? How are you? I need to get a sense if you play well with others, right? I think these are the things, Khalil, that need to be sort of front and center as we're picking our
Yeah.
bench
I
right
would
now.
say definitely, like, just along with what you're saying, one thing you can go and do is update your interview process to match and to account for the mindset aspect. And I think maybe even if you're not at that step, I think even before that is really defining that mindset. What are the values that are a part of your culture that you want employees to walk in with? And what do they look like in action? If you can define those things very, very clearly, it'll make that interview much easier for you to do, right? So that's one thing that I think you can
Absolutely.
go and do. Well, we've covered quite a bit today, Chris. We've talked about the pros and cons of skill set, the pros and cons of mindset. We are both in agreement that things, the job market is crazy right now. There are way more open jobs than applicants available, and things are going to have to be done differently if we're going to succeed. And if we want A players that are going to last longer than 10 months, we've got to start changing the way we do things, but also changing the approach that we take to hires. Um, so
Mm.
lots to think about there. I think to summarize, you need both. You need skill set and mindset, but I think the priority is definitely mindset above. So um,
No, I would agree. Listen, I appreciate you. I know this came up a few weeks ago when you and I were just having a random conversation. So I appreciate you letting me unpack
absolutely.
this. And it was great to talk with the owners that I did. And we're all it's a balance everybody's aware of. And it makes us now think about our
Right.
cultures, right? It, it's not enough to have uh skilled folks and hopefully with the right mindset, but we're still not keeping either one,
Mhm.
either group if we're not creating an inspiring environment to work in and, like you said, treating them
Yeah.
fairly and
Yeah.
paying them well.
Absolutely.